Hello, my name is Cameron Jackman. Uh, as many of you know, in my intro video, I explained how I wanted to be an athletic director once I graduate um, from St. Thomas. So yeah, my research will cover personality in sport, where they focus on the student athlete and their personality type. Um, so basically, it'll cover the three levels of personality. If a person's an introvert or extrovert, and what motivates them. So yeah, so we'll start with the first level of personality. So basically, the first level of personality is psychological core. Um, it's the most basic level. Um, it focuses on your attitudes, your values, your interests, and your motives. So really, psychological core it focuses on your beliefs you have about yourself and your self worth. So the core really represents the real you, not the person that people think you are. So say if you're a person who values your friends and your family, those are your true values. And people think your values are, sports or outside activities. Um, obviously, those people just have an idea of, of what they think, your values are, but your true values are, friends and family. So basically, the second level um, is called typical responses, and and typical responses are, they're defined as, a way we adjust to a certain environment. How we respond to situations that we find ourselves in. You may be, energized, happy, and comfortable in a social situation. Um, with all that considered, your typical responses indicate your psychological core. So, um, an example here would be if you go to a baseball game with someone and they observe you, and they watch you and they see you during the game. You're happy, you're energized, and you're comfortable in that social situation. But they have yet to observe you outside of that baseball game. And they're only basing their judgment off just that one baseball game. They see you as happy and energized and really comfortable in that situation. They would see you as an extrovert. However, they're only basing their judgment off that one situation. Um, but if they um, view you in, you know, outside of that social situation, and they see you in, consistently happy and energized and comfortable in social environments, then chances are you're an extrovert. But if they're basing their judgment only off that baseball game, then that's the judgment will be off. It's judging you consistently through social environments and seeing you as happy and energized and comfortable. So yeah, so basically the third level personality is called role related behavior, and this is based on your social situation, and the expectations you have, the expectations of others, and yourself regarding what is expected of you in specific roles and specific situations. This level is considered the most changeable level of personality. Um, there's psychological core, typical responses, and now role-related behavior. This is definitely the most changeable. So an example that I used, that I experienced, I went through uh, as a four-year collegiate golf player. I played at Thomas College in Waterville, Maine. Um, so the first 2 years I played, I was very, quiet. I wasn't a leader. I wasn't, captain of the team. I was just there to do my job. It's kind of tough to explain in golf, but I was, more of a role player. So I kept to myself and did my job when I showed up. Then my junior and senior year, when I was elected captain, however, uh, my role changed. I was, a leader. I motivated my team. I went, to team meetings. I led in team meetings, on the course, at the driving range. Um, so my role changed a bit. And then, outside of golf, um, outside of being an athlete, getting to the classroom, my, different environment, my role changed to a listener, um, observer, a learner. So that's an example of how, role-related behavior. Go from the course, you go from the driving range, team meetings, being a leader, talking, motivating your players. I motivated, we had 9 other guys I had to lead. And then going to the classroom and listening, and being a learner, observing. So that's the way that your role changes. um, yeah, so as an athletic director, you want to get to know your student athletes. You want to get to know their 3 levels of personality. You want to get to know the real athletes that you're dealing with, the real, the real athletes that aren't, just on the field. You want to see how they do in classroom environments and see how they do outside of just the sport they play. Um, so I'll talk about next. I'll talk about coaches, the parents you have to deal with, the fans, and the faculty. So the first one we'll talk about will be faculty. Faculty's a big part of the student athletes, and they they have them in the classroom. They know what they do in the classroom, how they react to certain situations in the classroom. Um, you want to connect with your faculty and be on the same page, and figure out how these students act in those type of environments. And I mean, I'll talk about it next, but connecting with coaches as well to see how they act on the field at practice, and getting a sense of does their behavior change? Does it Are they a little out of hand on the field, but when they get to the classroom, they become a student, or do they struggle in a classroom environment and excel on the field? It's about connecting with the faculty and having them on board with what you're doing, and they're a big part of the big picture for a lot of these athletes that want to play after school, after high school, want to go to the next level. Um, you know, so yeah, so connecting with faculty, and then obviously I just talked about connecting with coaches. Coaches are a big part of these athletes too. They, as a coach, um, you not only want to figure out like what their motives are, but you know, you want to connect with them and be on the same page. I read a couple things online that stood out to me. There were a couple stories about how these coaches, these high school coaches, this is not professional, this is high school. Um, they want all they care about was winning. All they wanted to do was win. Their focus was just on winning. Um, and as an athletic director, you don't want to have those types of coaches. You want to have coaches who have a balance between winning and find a balance between winning and having an environment for these kids to learn and have fun and participate in the sport they want to participate in. So I mean, really, you want to be on the same page as coaches and make sure that they're there for the right reasons and not just to win. So yeah, so once you get to coaches, the next one would be parents, and parents are a big part of these athletes' lives. A lot of their personality comes from their parents. Um, they so you want to figure out what the parents' motives are. There are parents who think that that their son or daughter is going to the professional, the MLB, the NBA, WNBA. Those there are those parents who think their child is the best player in the world. So you want to figure out what their parents' motives are, what they want for their. Obviously, all parents want is for their kids to succeed, but you want to connect them on the same page as the parents too, and make sure that there's a balance between wanting your child to succeed and going over that line and really wanting them to get all the playing time. You know, um, just being on the same page as them and finding out what their motives are for their child. There will be problems with parents. There will be problems with coaches. There will be problems with faculty sometimes. And as an athletic director, a goal of mine is to really make sure that I become good at problem solving, and I know how to solve those problems, and I know how to work with coaches, with parents, with faculty. So yeah, so after faculty, after coaches, after parents, the next thing is the fans. The fans are the fans can have an impact. So the thing as an athletic director is you want to have crowd safety and crowd control, and make sure that there's not a child or a parent who's getting out of hand. And you will be dealing with different personalities in the crowd, that's for sure. And making sure that it's controlling the crowd, that they're cheering more for their team than they are rooting against the other team. So yeah, as an athletic director, you want to make sure there's crowd control, crowd safety. Um, so yeah, so just as an athletic director, I'll be dealing with situations that involve the parents, the faculty, the coaches, the fans. I mean, it's all about finding out what their personalities are and connecting with them and making sure that everyone's on board and setting up our student athletes to succeed and to go to the college they want or to play at the next level. So yeah, I'll be dealing with certain situations, and my goal as an athletic director will be to motivate and guide and problem solve and make sure that I set up my student athletes to succeed. So yeah, that is my research. So thank you.